Shrinking the house, baby. Sporting the new kicks. Gotta love them. Gotta love the Adidas Addy Zero. Yeah, so just to let y'all know, I don't know if I filled you in on this. Just another thing that I've really loved my whole life has been shoe technology. It all started when I was a little kid, playing soccer, starting at 5 years old. I kind of got obsessed with soccer boots. I always wanted to have the best soccer boots. And my dad was nice enough to accommodate. And when I was around 13, Adidas top of the line boot, they had the 6-stud version and then the multi-stud version. And those were called the World Cup 78s, and then the Copa. The Copa they still make. Now, the thing about those boots were that they were entirely made of kangaroo leather, guys. Now, for any of you that have ever tried, even the old CCM Super Tack ice skates were all kangaroo leather. They shaped to your feet like a glove. You had to buy almost a size too small with these soccer boots for them to shape to your feet. They're lightweight, super strong. So unfortunately, they don't make those anymore, and it's illegal anyway. So just a short little story. They called me Shoes back in the day, and I'm still Shoes. So these Addy Zeros, these things are sick. Absolutely sick technology of the foam, if you can see. Those are called the lightning strike foam technology. And they literally got Continental tire rubber. As you can see, it says it right there. Continental, anyway, not that you care, but they're just like pillows. They're absolutely unbelievable. So let's get to the topic at hand. And again, I gotta but thank you guys. You know who you are, man. You just keep hitting it big. Supporting the channel the way you do, even becoming members, which once again, I'll say it, and I'll say it on almost every video. It costs a coffee a month to be a member on my channel. And the guys will tell you in the comments, like I say, I go behind the scene and work one-on-one with people. Whatever it may be, because audio is not first and foremost on my channel. Talking about life, feelings, heartfelt emotions, these are the things that come first. Audio is just a hobby and something that I know a lot about. That's it. It's nothing that I put up ahead of anything in life. So as you can see by the picture, a lot of you are going to be familiar with the brand. Good old Proac. World-class speaker brand from the UK. And you know me, I like my mini stand mount, so I had to have the top of the line mini monitor from the company. And that was the cherry veneer version. Tablette 10 signature with the copper phase plug on the driver. Now, of course, they have those stupid, I just wish they'd lose those darn grill holes, but even with those, when you get those speakers in your hand and you look at the craftsmanship, they were really beautiful. So the first thing I do, because everything ends up coming into this room to see if it's going to perform well enough for me to want to keep. But first, when a speaker's that small, and just to let you know, they're a sealed design, and that doesn't always mean that there's not going to be a lot of bass, but I had the NAD C399 set up in the TV, and that's where I would build my little second system and experiment with small stand mounts in that room. Because it's all about the room, guys. It just is. So they were pressurizing that room over there really well. I was getting all the bass that I wanted. And I love the speaker. Like, I love looking at them, listening to them. They were kind of a lively, they had just enough detail. Great bass in that room. They weren't bright, but they're definitely not laid back or mellow or dull. They had life to the music. And I really, really liked the sound. They were never bright, no etch. An enjoyable, exciting listen, but the true test had to come, guys, where it comes over into the reference cave, And like I tell you, the room it's bigger than it seems. I have to always say that it extends way behind here because the camera is right on the edge of the island. And then it extends way out from left to right and then about 8 feet back, right? And I sit 6 to 7 feet away, right about here, like right where the boo-carts are that really pressurize this room nicely, the way I like it to anyway, for my rock music and other music I listen to. But, you know, sadly when I brought the Proac Tablet 10 signatures into this space, it's just, yeah, for those people that want to use the sub and stuff, you wouldn't have an issue, but it just disappeared. They were anemic. They're basically useless in this room. And it was sad because they're not cheap. They cost almost as much as these signatures. Well, not quite, but I mean, you know, they're around $3,700 Canadian for this mini monitor. And I was hoping for more for that money. You know, they also reminded me a bit of a Harb, but just there's just no bass on the P3 in a room this size. And that's not gonna, I don't roll like that. Shrink don't like that. Shrink don't like that. So unfortunately, I will say it's a great speaker if you have a very small room. It'll cover all the frequencies. No, it's not gonna do sub bass, but it'll probably hit 50 hertz. It'll give you the punch, you know, but it's got to be a small room. I will say it is one of the best mini monitor stand mounts I've had via mid-range, top end. And the bass is fine in a small room, but again, the champion of all the mini monitors that do everything that I look for in a really small speaker, because I don't consider this a real small speaker, the Dali Minute SE. Did everything that I mean, they even worked in this room. The only reason they went is because I hated the look. You know, I love the look of these, but the Dali Minute SE gives you the best of both worlds for its minute size. Okay, and they're a little bit less than the Tablet 10 signature. Maybe not quite as refined on the mid-range, but it's, like I say, you're splitting hairs. You really are. And if you can get a low frequency that's satisfying, that's, you know, that wins the battle at the end of the day for me. It just does. So yeah, they're a great speaker, but I just can't recommend them for anything other than a really small room. They're an iconic speaker. They're beautifully built. But that's what you're going to expect. Just expect what I tell you. Or you can go find out the hard way for yourself, you know? Like I say, the amount of time I put into this hobby and the amount of pain that I've been through over the 3 decades and the addiction of it, I've suffered enough for you, so you don't have to. That's why I have the channel, to try to help others. So anyway, there's some equipment on the way that I feel could be, you know, great value for people. And I'm going to bring that to you soon. So once again, like and subscribe. Thanks for everybody that supports the channel. Until the next one. Get yourself some Addy Zeros.